Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Now, one of the EDC items that I've always recommended everybody carry is a small pry bar. It's incredibly useful to have in so many different situations, and plus it stops you doing all of those naughty things you're not supposed to be doing with your knife. That's what your pry bar is for, and that's why it's useful to keep it with you. So I saw a few months back that Henny Haynes were doing pre-orders for the twisted assisted bar keep, so I had to pick one up because I knew you guys would be interested in this. The wind has just picked up slightly, so I do apologise if you can hear the wind in the background. Okay, cool, so let's have a look at what you get. First off, you have the box here, but you also get this, which is really nice. It's like almost like a twisted assisted, it's almost like a tarot card kind of thing, but it's got this really nice illustration on there, bar keep on there, in a rowdy pub, which is, you know, fairly British kind of rowdy pub kind of look and feel to it. But yes, really nice little feature or added extra that they include that with it. So here we have the box itself, fairly simple. It says twisted assisted at the top. You have this nice little logo here, and then you have the bar keep pry bar down here at the bottom. Nothing on the back other than some details from Henny Haynes where I picked it up. And then here on the inside, so it comes, it's in this little foam thing, again, which is kind of nice. Make sure that it's nice and protected whilst it's whizzing its way towards you. So here we have the actual tool itself. As you can see, it is a pry bar, which is a tool predominantly used for prying things. To give you, well, actually, as we usually do, we'll go through some measurements, some materials, and then we'll have a look around the features. As far as the measurements are concerned, it comes in roughly 16, I think it's 15.9 centimeters from the chiseled edge here all the way to the back. Obviously, it would be slightly less if you drew that line across there. The stock of the steel that is on here is 3mm, which is nice. If you wanted to do some reasonably heavy prying with this, other than opening beer bottles, I'd say, then you could definitely do that with this. Hopefully you'll be able to see as well. So there are some scales on here. I guess, I mean, there are some screws here if you wanted to take them off, but using it with the scales definitely gives you a good purchase on the tool itself. With the scales, I couldn't get the exact measurements, but using a ruler, I measured it at roughly about 12 or 13mm with the scales on here. There is also a pocket clip on this, which you probably need to add an extra 4mm if you choose to add the pocket clip on there. The scales on this version that I have here, so these are the G10 and these are the olive green scales. It's available with 7 different colours of G10s, blues, greens, blacks, whites, several different colours, and there is also a micarta version of them as well. I was thinking of getting the micarta one, but when I saw the photos of this this green G10, yeah, I was like, yeah, I really like that version. As far as the steel is concerned, so this is made from 14C28N, which is a very nice steel. I know we talk about super steels, we talk about, you know, all these absolutely amazing new ones that are coming out. You just can't, you can't pick too many. I mean, you probably could do if you're being super picky, but the Sandvik 14C28N steel is an incredibly good steel and well-respected steel, so it's nice that it's on here. It has a lot of properties to make sure that if this is getting beer and stuff spilled on it, then the corrosion resistance on there from beer. I wonder if anybody's done any studies into the corrosion of water versus the corrosion of beer on things, but I believe this is maybe why it's been chosen, so that it will help because of its anti-beer corrosive properties. But yes, it's a nice steel. There are two finishes to this. The one that I have here, this is the stone wash, but there is also a black acid wash that you can have it on as well. And there's a few different options, and you know, that with the way in which you can customize this to your tastes. I think the black one with the black G10 scales, it's got that kind of murdered out kind of stealth look to it, but I liked this one. It has more of a utilitarian kind of look and feel to it. If you're enjoying today's content, don't forget to like and subscribe to support my channel. And if you are a subscriber, check out my community tab where I'm giving away this long range Rucker as part of my 6-year anniversary. So yes, I'll leave a link for that in the comments below. But back to today's featured content. Now, as far, oh sorry, I didn't mention the weight. The weight of this, so that includes the actual pry bar itself, the scales, and the clip on the back, comes in at roughly 95 grams, which is great. It's easily pocketable, with some exceptions which we'll definitely talk about. Okay, let's go through some features starting at the end here. So there is a stepped pry bar here, if you can see that. So if you wanted to, you needed to be able to get that under something that a little bit shorter, or maybe you needed to force it in there to kind of open something up, then you can use that on this end. Now, part of me makes me think that you could use it tactically or defensively, which I certainly wouldn't recommend doing here in the UK. However, maybe if you had small dainty hands and you were struggling to get into a crate of beer, then you could use this end to just give it a bit of a nudge so that you can get into that pesky beer crate. On the flip side of here, hopefully you'll be able to see here that we also have a removable pocket clip. There are 4 screws here so that you can take this off. Now that's why I gave the additional measurement of that on there. It's probably about an extra 4, maybe 5 millimeters, but if you wanted to take it off, you could do. And then what I'd probably do is sink these screws back into the holes there just to kind of clean off that aesthetic. But if you wanted to take this off, then you can take this off. It does change, it does have a bit of an asymmetric look as far as the scales are concerned. So on this side, the scales come all the way down here to, I guess if this was a knife, that would be your Picasso kind of part. But the scales come all the way from there, all the way down to the end, round this finger ring to where you've got this little stepped pry bar. Whereas on the flip side, they just come down to where the finger ring starts, and they don't go around that. The main reason for that is that this is where the pocket clips screws onto there. The scales themselves have a really nice texture. I like G10 because of the texture that's on here, and it feels really nice in the hand. Around the sides of it, it's been, I believe there is a term, chamfered, so that again, it's just, I know we don't really talk about ergos much, especially with something like this, but it does feel good in the hand. You also have some finger choils here again, so that when you've got your pinky through there, that you can hold it and you know that it's in place. Or again, although I don't recommend this, again, if you're using this like this in the UK, then you can hold it like that and you can get a really good grip on that should you need to get into that, what did I say, that pesky beer crate. So on both of the sides, the scales stop just here, just kind of, so let's say 2/3 of the way through this front finger choil, which again you can kind of hold normally like that. You don't necessarily have to put your finger through there. And then we have a few features here at the end. Now, for your thumb, there is some knurling here on the top. It's not particularly aggressive knurling, but it will give you a bit of a grip should you need to here at the end. There is also some knurling here again, so if you had to use it this way, that you've also got an extra little bit of grip there at the end. But again, not particularly aggressive, but gives you sufficient enough to be able to get a little bit more of a purchase. On the front here against this side, hopefully you'll be able to see that there is a twisted assisted logo on there. On the flip side, it does say that this is the Sandvik 14C28N steel. And then the last, I guess, 3 parts, probably 2. You have your bottle opener here, which you put your cap in there and you lift it up. Hopefully everybody at this point should understand how to open a beer bottle. However, if any of you struggle to open beer bottles, I'm sure I could make some content dedicated to how to open a beer bottle. Maybe that's an idea one day. But anyway, so you have that here. I've opened a few bottles. Unfortunately, I was stupid enough not to open my last bottle, so I can't show you how to open a bottle here. But again, I'll make some content if you struggle to understand how to open a bottle. But yes, so you have your bottle opener here. Now on the end here, hopefully you'll be able to see, so this is kind of your prying area, but what I will say is these are more like chisels than they are pry bars, and I know that that's something that they've talked about, or you see on the Twisted Assisted information about this, is where it's talking about saving your chisels, or don't use your chisel to do these, or you save the edge on your chisel. It does mean that these are reasonably sharp. I don't think you could class this as a knife edge as such. However, they are sharp. You know, I can mark this here. If I run this against my thumbnail, I mean, I don't want to push it on too hard, because it will cut through my thumb. That does limit, unfortunately, this being carried in your pocket. If you wanted to keep this on you as a day-to-day tool, these are sharp, and you know, it'll cut through your pockets. However, if you wanted to, I think what you could probably do is, I certainly wouldn't recommend maybe taking a grinder to them, because I think a grinder would be too harsh. But if you were to take some sandpaper, if it was a light sandpaper, and just kind of rub on these end bits, then that would just round the edges a little bit more. You could probably get it so that it's a little bit closer to this. Now that depends on how you want to use this. If you are using this, maybe you're a tradesperson and you just want a decent small tool that you can have on you at all times to, you know, save your chisels because you're using them wrong, save your knife because you shouldn't be using your knife to be doing certain things. If you do have wooden boxes that you need to be able to get into, maybe certain items that are sent to you in wooden boxes, again, stop using your knives to get into those, then this will be perfect for that. With this being the Barkeep pry bar, I think if you were a bar person and you wanted to keep either throwing this into your pocket, maybe you wore an apron or something that you had a pocket, that you had one of those bottle blades, which aren't blades at all, but hopefully you'll know what I mean by that. Then I think if you were throwing this in and out of an apron, you would 100% need to take the sharper edges off of here. If you're just a regular person and you want to carry this every single day for EDC, then I highly recommend taking these sharp edges off of here. One, just for your own safety if you are carrying this, because you know you could cut yourself putting your hands into your pockets, and two, if you were stopped by the police and they took this, then they would definitely consider this to be a sharp edge rather than a pry bar, more akin to a chisel than a small prying tool. But again, I think you could easily remedy that. I think if you'd got some I know, like a 500, or probably even less than that, but anyway, you could just take the edge off of here and it would be a lot more safer for people to use. Certainly after this review, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take some sandpaper to this just to take that sharp edge off, so that it's just a little bit easier and friendlier to use, yeah, outside of opening beer bottles with it if I wanted to carry this in my pocket. So there we have the Twisted Assisted Barkeep. Although this is aimed to be that kind of bar tool, I think there is definitely a little bit more to this as far as the utilitarian side. If you wanted to use this for more than just opening bottles, given the fact that it's a pry bar at the end of the day, you know, you should use this just for more than, if you're buying this specifically to keep in a drawer to open a bottle of beer every Friday night, then I mean, yeah, good on you if you've got that spare cash. But I think with the utilitarian side of this, where it has that more of a chisel feature towards the end, I think you can definitely do a lot more with this than you can do with some other smaller pry bars. The fact that it fits into your hand and you've got that ring lock in there so that it won't come out, so that you can chisel and that you can pry bar. It may limit the pocket carry for this though, as I've already mentioned. These aren't necessarily a cutting edge, however they are still sharp. But as I mentioned, you know, there's a very easy way that you can kind of circumvent that with some sandpaper, so that you can make this easier to carry in your pocket. However, in its current state, if you were to carry this in your pocket for a prolonged period, you just cut holes in your pocket. But other than that, yeah, really happy with this. It's definitely something that I will be using to be opening more beers with, and I think for this one it's probably one that I'll carry or keep in the house for tasks and duties, rather than carrying around with me, unless I think, oh, actually I want that because I'm going camping or, you know, whatever reason. So there you go. Now, I picked this up from Henny Haynes. I actually bought it myself, but I'll leave some links below so that you can see more from where you can pick this up. I'll also leave some Twisted Assisted links below as well, some of my social media links, whether that's here on Moorlander EDC or my sister channel Moorlander Tactical, and whether you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble. As always, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. Was Norman in the background just taking a poo? I'll have to rewatch that again, just in case. Kind of get round that just with some vitamin B12 to help with your memory. Let's put my phone on silent. The Twisted Assisted. It is Twisted Assisted. It's the edit at the end that kind of gets me. Twisted Assisted. Twist, although I suppose twist assist sounds kind of weird. Twist to assist, or assist to twist. I don't know. Anyway, where were we? A little bit more as far as a utilitarian feature to this, which you'd expect kind of, sorry, no one wants to be let in the house. Dogs, eh? What did they say? Don't work with children and animals, especially if one of the animals is a very needy whippet. Nearly confused myself with that bit at the end. Yeah, this is going out Sunday. Hope you all had a nice weekend. Whether you're out adventuring or whether you've just been sat at home chilling watching the TV, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. What's the term? A weekend wasted is never a wasted weekend. Yeah. Anyway, so where were we? Yeah, hope you're all having a great weekend. Cool. See you soon.